There we go. It should be live. We are live, motherfuckers. Right. Welcome to Shooting the Shit, episode 127. Okay, 127. Oh, I fucking forgot last week to upload.
2 to the 7 minus 1.
Yeah, I forgot to fucking upload last week's show on the website.
Fail.
Until today. I didn't notice. I was like, oh fuck. When I looked at it, I was like, shit. So yeah, sometimes that happens. I've been a wee bit busy.
All of our millions of fans were probably disappointed in you.
I know.
I'm disappointed in them, to be fair. But they are actual fans of this shit show. What am I doing? I don't know. It's confusing. Right. We'll go for these fucking Far Cry 5 things. Do you want me to put the links in the things?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link over that I have of the
There's that one. And there is this one. Okay. These are the two that I know about. Is that put? Yeah, it's put two of them in there. So if I click that,
yeah, it looks like we have the same link. We found the same
link.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he has a different link too, but his first link and my link are the same. So we have the same source there.
Yeah. Well, seemingly, these are the same. The same info got out to these two different places, and seemingly they're both going with a completely different narrative, so it was interesting.
I liked the trailer a lot for this. I really did.
We can watch the trailer once.
Yeah, I've never played any. I know I already said this off air, but I never played any Far Cry's and never had any desire to, but I actually have a desire to play it. And it's like, the trailer's so America.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm like, yes.
The thing with Far Cry, right, is the first one was by the guys that made Crysis, right? So Far Cry was Crysis. It was basically Crysis, right? They lost the rights to the name Far Cry, so they renamed the next game Crysis, and then you've got Crysis 1, 2, 3, right? And Far Cry 2 was a brand new
engine
sort of IP, right? It was the same IP, but like a brand new game. Does that make sense?
Is that when
it was completely different to Far Cry, right?
Different developer, was it then?
Yeah, it was Crytek. Crytek made the first. Yeah, Crytek made the first Far Cry. Then they lost the name because Ubisoft owned. Yeah, Ubisoft owned the name, and then they done the Crysis. The Crytek guys done Crysis, and basically Ubisoft, whoever made Far Cry 2, I think it's the Ubisoft developers. I'm not sure. Ubisoft's a publisher. I can't remember. But anyway, Far Cry 2 is a completely different game. It was fuck all to do with like the first Far Cry. And that's when you got all these ones with the map, the open world maps, with little things to shoot in. It's sort of like a first person Grand Theft Auto, except it was in Africa. First one was set in Africa. The third one was set in tropical island.
Yeah.
And
fourth one's like some fictional country between like India and Tibet or something.
Right, I've never played it. I stopped playing at 3 because they got boring.
I've never played
the same game.
any of them, but I kind of want to play this one. It looks, I don't know, it just looks fun, and I like the feel of it, and I'm like, I love like cult stuff, so I watch like a lot of documentaries on cults and everything, and so like then I'm kind of into this. I'm like, oh.
And then there's the other one, the Blood Dragon, which I think that was after
Far Cry 3. It was a mod for Far Cry 3, basically.
Yeah. Oh, right. So yeah, but that's just got a fantastic 80s style to it.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. It was like a DLC. I can't explain it. It was a standalone DLC. So it was like a mod, but it was a standalone thing, and they just went fucking crazy with it.
Can't argue with that.
It's actually really quite good. It just went all 80s sci-fi. Like everything about it is just fucking.
I watched
sci-fi.
I watched a film recently called Turbo Kid, which was like done by these I think New Zealand sort of small budget thing, but that was also a very 80s aesthetic with BMXing and stuff in a post-apocalyptic landscape. It had Michael Ironside in it, so that's always a good thing. And I reckon if anybody thinks these sound like interesting things, I have a sort of fetish for the 80s. Go and check them out. They'll definitely be right up your street. I think these two different things. So highly recommend those. This one, I'd probably be with you, Kat, on the whole. They're all basically the same game. I mean, I played all the Assassin's Creeds before the fucking shit show of Unity came out, and I gave up with that shit. This one will probably be kind of the same, but here we go. It's like this. If it's not for you, there's not like there's a lack of other stuff out there.
Yeah. I'm going to. Will we watch the trailer first, since it's up there on the top?
It's up there.
Yeah. The trailer's good.
We must atone.
Something is coming. You can feel it, can't you? You can feel that we are creeping towards the edge. I know that you are out there. I know that you are in pain. For my children, I'm here to tell you that suffering is a choice, and you can choose a better path. We want you, accept you, and we will take you. Willingly or not. And some of you may fight, but in the end, you will thank us. I am your father, and you are my children.
Look how American it is!
The end is upon us. I shall lead you to the gate. For you are my children, and I am your father.
I like the church sign as well. Like, souls do not harvest themselves.
The harvest, yeah, I noticed that. Souls do not harvest themselves.
I know, I was like, ah!
Yeah, that looks okay. I mean,
PlayStation, the best place to play.
It's probably not. The PC is definitely the best place to play would be the PC. I don't know why anyone buys consoles nowadays. It's pointless.
Well, it's. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the main reason is probably still going to be like people who want the particular exclusives, and then there's people who basically they need their sports games. It's going to be your Pro Evolution Soccers and your FIFAs. So in America, it's going to be your Maddens. So Those probably drive a lot of more console sales than people realise. I know people that only have football games on their fucking consoles, pretty much.
Oh yeah, so
I don't like to play sports games. Those are always boring.
Lots of people with consoles and they love their CODs and their shitty, like, I don't know why. Just it's a shit show over there on consoles, man.
It's hamburgers. It's hamburgers, man. Some people just can't
it's a
get
McDonald's.
It's like I've eaten enough hamburgers in my day. I prefer something a little different every now and again. You know, that's why I prefer play. I've got the PlayStation. It's fine. There's lots of nice games and stuff. I've got the Wii U, and it's like there's different games on that. It's much better for a party scenario. That's really the only thing for me. The PC doesn't really do the party play, but then neither does the Xbox or PlayStation anymore. So for me, there is literally no reason to get a console when none of them.
Unless it's the Wii, apparently, because
unless it's the Wii, because apparently they've decided, well, we're not going to bother allowing you to get 4 people around on your sofa and play split screen. Right, that's the only reason I have it, in my opinion. So. For me, they are just as you would probably say, Kat, underpowered PCs. So, what is the point?
You can play split screen on computer. We have like Mario Party on our computer, and
you can, but it's a ball ache. Like you can do it, but it's a bit of a ball ache. I mean, if you want, you can get the Dolphin emulator to emulate the Wii, and just buy a wireless bar. For Red Bar, set that up, buy your Wii remote, and it'll play perfectly on the PC at 60 FPS with high 1080p graphics and all that shite, and it'll play your Wii games. Like, there's literally no reason to have a console now. Like, I don't understand.
Like I say,
all you need to do is buy a low-end, medium-range, a mid-range PC will beat any console out in the market.
Unless it's the Wii, because you want the party play. But see, the thing is, you've got the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch looks like it's in the wrong direction to me. But whatever. It seems like the days of being able to get around on the sofa and play games quickly and conveniently, they seem to be being phased out. So I guess we're supposed to be more antisocial or something. I don't know. Anyway,
we have a PS4, but it's funny because the main purpose of our PS4 is actually to play movies on it, to watch Netflix, to watch Hulu and YouTube for my daughter. That's what she's like doing.
Again, a little fucking Raspberry Pi fucking computer sitting there on your fucking rigged up to USB.
That would do that too, but we have the PlayStation 4, and my boyfriend did that, and then he has his PC, and then I have mine.
You will find difficulties with that if you have Blu-rays. Of course, most people are going digital, so it's not necessarily a concern. But
Blu-ray is a complete fucking cunt on the PC. Just to let everyone know.
That is one of the reasons why I got the PS3. When I didn't have anything else going on, that would be my key thing for playing the Blu-rays I had of various series, because I still do like to buy TV box sets and stuff that I really like.
Consoles
I was using that, as you say, for YouTube and stuff. Now I've got a smart TV. Pretty much all that YouTube and Netflix shit is already on there, so I don't know.
Right, okay, we need to get back to the article.
We don't need to. We can talk about this for forever.
We could, but I'm just saying that's sort of what I'm saying. If we don't get to the article,
give Narwhal the last word, and then she can read.
I was just gonna say, basically, consoles are becoming expensive DVD players.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you wanna read, Narwhal?
Sure, I can read. Just give me 1 second.
You've got 2. That's
the female privilege.
That is
taking ages.
It's the female privilege. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do. All right. So, teased in the spring slot that Ubisoft usually reserves for announcing and hyping Assassin's Creed games, the new Far Cry is getting a push by the mega publisher as an ideal shooter for our precious times.
Precarious.
It's also a game...
Precarious.
Precarious,
Precarious.
sorry.
I'm going to use my mansplaining to explain as precarious.
I wasn't really paying attention. So it's also a game in which you'll be able to have your dog rip out a guy's throat and bring his gun back to you.
Brilliant.
I love games where I can have my dog rip out guys' throats.
I mean, it would be better if they'd ripped off his balls, but I mean, you can't push it
Oh my
too
god,
far,
that
right?
would be amazing. Somebody needs to get that game into action. It's just a game where you go around and you train your dog for different things, and one of those things is ripping off people's balls. That's it. That's the game. It'll be like, you know, dog simulator. You'll just train your dog to rip off people's balls.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah.
I'm all about that. Above is the debut trailer, which is slated to come out for PS4, Xbox One, and PC on February 27th, 2018. So, yes. Except for, I don't know if I could buy it. Games are so expensive! I want it! But now I don't know.
Buy it straight away. It's always
I know. I'd have to like, maybe wait near Christmas and be like, this is what I want for Christmas.
I've got a new strategy for this, okay? Now, what happens is, I've noticed on CD key sites, right? Sometimes it's cheaper to pre-order it than it is to get it after it's released from their sites. Because what they do is, they supply and demand, right? So if the game's really selling really well, they whack the price up. But usually when it's pre-ordered, they sort of have a lower pre-order. So sometimes, if you're really looking forward to a game, sometimes you can pick it up from these sites for like 25 quid, which is at least £5 to £10 cheaper than it would be.
Yeah, well, 25, that would be a lot more reasonable. $25 to $30 USD would be much more reasonable than 50 to 60 for a game, I think.
Yep.
But
again, it's why the PC is better than consoles, because not only does the PC give you better graphics, FPS and all that, the games are always cheaper because no one needs to pay Sony or Microsoft to get on their console, right? So it's cheaper. The game's cheaper on the PC. Most of the time, sometimes it doesn't work that way because fucking cunts like the publishers are like, no, you'll pay the same, even though we get more money that way because we don't need to pay Sony or Microsoft.
Always vote if you are slavish to your dedication and I must play this game. At the end of the day, I don't really have any sympathy for you. You could just decide to spend your money elsewhere, or not spend it at all and save up your pennies for another day.
Well,
That's all I have to say on that. I have no sympathy for anybody who complains. Just don't spend your fucking money.
Yeah, usually my maximum is about 25 to 30, and usually I'll wait. If it's too expensive, I'll just wait till it comes down.
It's not like there's enough choice. It's not like there's not enough choice.
I fucking love it, and then I might pay a bit more. No, I mean, I got Overwatch for, I think it was 34, right? But I really liked it because my mate had it before I got it, and then I thought, oh, I'll just fucking do it. And Blizzard games are fucking expensive, by the way, just to say. Blizzard games are fucking always expensive.
They are high quality.
They always are decent. I've got to say that there's no Blizzard game that's really let me down, apart from Diablo 3 when it first came out, but they fixed that. So
yeah, there was why did it fail? Because they were fucking around with online shit as well again, and it's like, guys, you're just gonna piss people off. It's not gonna stop piracy. The pirates always find a way. You just piss off your paying customers. That's what happens. We know it. Stop fucking.
What it was the way the loot system worked and the auction system worked, right? So it was real money auction house they had, right? So
Yeah, I remember that
go on the
shit as
auction.
well. That's just terrible
Right.
ideas.
No, it was because it felt like it affected the game because the loot drops were fucking awful. Like, you could be playing the game for fucking ages and never get a decent loot drop, so you couldn't get past that point because it's Diablo, right? It's all about loot.
Pay
So
to
get
play, it
higher,
basically becomes.
yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt fucking awful, right? It wasn't until they revamped the whole fucking game that it actually was a decent Diablo game, and it's a really good game now.
And this is why you don't pay straight up. It's like, I always say, let other people be the guinea pigs. Why should I be the canary in the coal mine?
Although, to be fair, my mate did win back the amount he paid for the game through the auction.
There's always going to be winners and losers, but I mean, if
he was grinding like fuck though. He was on that shit.
But this is the thing. It's like then it's not a game; it's work. I already do enough work. I don't play games so I can work.
I kept telling him that because I bought it to play with him, right? And he's like, well, just do what I do. I'm like, but that's fucking work, man. It's boring as fuck grinding that shit. Like, the amount you made from that, the amount of time you spent on that, you could get like a job that pays £1 an hour and still make more money. Like, what are you on about? It's not fucking. It's like slave labor, basically.
Well,
it's like
it is
getting a penny an hour or something. It's like doesn't make sense.
It is one of those interesting things that shows how you can change the context of an activity, and then suddenly all sense of economics goes out the window. It's like if you gave a similar situation in real life, people wouldn't do it. You put it in a video game, and then suddenly people spend hours doing a monotonous task with the promise of, you know what, at the end of it, some digital hat or some bullshit like that.
Some digital fucking shit that will get you to get to the next level and then play the next level to do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind like paying for little digital stuff sometimes, but I don't like if it affects the gameplay. I don't like if it, you know, makes people becomes like too much of a where you can't earn things.
This is the thing. It felt like it affected the gameplay. Maybe it actually didn't. I don't know. It just felt like you had to grind like fuck to get anywhere, or
it's just not
you
fun
could go to
doing
the
that.
auction
That's the main problem.
Right, or you could go to the auction and buy that weapon for real money. Like, so the weapon that you need to get to further on the game, you would pay for it, or you would grind out until you got it. That's what Diablo was all about. It was all about the loot, right?
Yeah, I like it better when the things that you buy for games are cosmetic. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I like it better when it's just cosmetic stuff.
Overwatch is all cosmetic.
Yeah, I like that. I think is like really awesome to do. Like, it doesn't affect the gameplay. It's not a thing, but it's like cosmetic stuff if you want to look a certain way, and I think that's great.
Diablo was all about the grind, right? That was the whole point in the game. Like the amazing loot drops that you got when you done something, like you were grinding, and it was the loot drops, and it was loot drops were your little reward, right? But because the loot drops were mostly fucking shit, there was no point because you didn't get that rush when something dropped, right?
Enough.
You didn't get that rush enough, which made it shit.
You know what you're describing, right? It's how you get gambling right. It's like the most addictive games are the ones that get the right balance between win and loss. So you're never too bored, like, oh, I'll never get anything decent, and you're never winning too much. You're just winning enough, so that that's you keep playing.
Yeah, that's what made Diablo great. That's what made Diablo great. But they fucked that with the auction house thing. So it was awful, but no, they changed that and it's all fine now. The loot drops are fucking, like, you can tweak you get like little things that tweak the loot drops and all that shit, like extra stats and all that pish that tweak it so you could be like a complete fucking hoarder with all that shit. If you max out that stat, you'll got better chance of getting the drops, like extra 2 or 3% chance of getting drops, and then if you've got a whole set like that, then your drop chance is like multiplied by a lot. And like they fixed it, and it's also on consoles as well. It was actually the console one that done so well. They sort of made the PC one more like the console one. That's pretty much what they done.
Yeah.
So yeah, they noticed that they had fucked up and they fixed it. But I mean, that's what Blizzard usually do. Like like there's no time that Blizzard's really not fixed their fuck ups. And they do usually make high quality games. I think they're the only one left, them and Valve.
Yeah, I mean, it's all how. I mean, at the end of the day, I think Blizzard understand that they're nothing without their customers, so they do their best to keep them happy, which can't really argue with.
Right. So back to this thing.
Yep.
Below are some details we picked up during the presentation of the game.
Let the women come on. It's International Women's Day at some point in the future. No, it's not. It's not. But you're going to speak. That was a sort of way that the male patriarchy uses to get women to do work. It's actually a privilege.
Talking about
International Women's Day every day or something. I don't know.
Talking about women, right? I read on the Twitters that the Wonder Woman movie is getting a showing for female women only.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. As you say, let's get through this shit first. We'll come back to that.
I know, but I'm just like, it's Far Cry 5.
We'll come back to that shit. You will come back to it. Let's get through this because it will take forever. Otherwise, we know how we are.
It will.
As it is.
Yeah.
Okay, below are some more details we put up during a presentation of the game recently held by Ubisoft. At a hotel, convenient, like something went on, 2 blocks from Kotaku headquarters. So, like I can sign to see your background. Okay, there we go. Far Cry 5 is primarily from the Ubisoft Montreal team behind Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4, according to producer Dan Hay, who worked on those and is now exclusive producer and creative director of this one. Those games, creative director Alex Hutchinson. Yeah, bad with last name sometimes.
It's an Australian one.
Okay.
Hutchinson.
Is no longer at Ubisoft. Another studio working on Far Cry 5, Ubisoft's Toronto, Kiev.
That's Ukraine. Shanghai.
Yeah. Shanghai and Newcastle-based Reflections. It does not appear to be a drastic gameplay departure from earlier Far Cry games, in that it still appears to be a chaotic open world first-person shooter. A gameplay reel they showed us was full of the usual gunfights, explosions, and flamethrowers. All things I like. Ubisoft says Far Cry 5 can be played solo or entirely in 2-player co-op. The game will also have a map editor. Maybe the 2-player thing, me and my boyfriend can play. We'd have to do it on the PlayStation 4 then if it was 2-player, or it would just have to be on his computer. It just have to be on his computer.
Yeah, you can do that.
Because we're not going to buy it for like 2 computers. Okay, what most clearly sets Far Cry 5 apart from its predecessors is that it isn't about shooting up a beautiful island run by a madman in a South Pacific or lovely region run by a madman in the Himalayas. It's all about madmen, though, right?
It is basically,
It's about blasting through a section of modern Montana controlled by a Bible-thumping madman who runs a heavily armed militia. You're up against the father, Joseph Seed, who, along with his family, has spent the last dozen years sinking deep country fictional Hope County, while establishing a cult called the Project at Eden's Gate. I love it. Oh my god, I love cult. Okay. Cult is preparing for a big fight and or the end of a world and are recruiting people in the town to do their bidding. Whether those people like it or not, imagine a community where some of the townspeople are actually in the militia while others just suffer its encroaching influence and nurse their desire to rebel. Okay, so
You want to scroll, Cat?
Yeah, no.
I like this
You should
picture.
get ready for this. You wouldn't be very good for like.
You scrolled
turning
too
sheet
far
music.
past the picture. I wanted to like go over the picture because it reminded me of the Last Supper. Yes, it's like a Last Supper thing.
I think
That's
that's
what
the
they're going
point.
for.
With the American flag.
That's
America.
definitely the point.
They're not being
Yeah.
subtle. They're not being
Yeah.
subtle.
Yeah, they're not being subtle at all. I love it though. I like that picture. Okay. In a change for the series, you can choose to play as a man or woman. I'm sorry, but that is offensive.
It is.
Because gender is a spectrum. So you should be able to pick more. and pick
You can't play as, the important thing is you can't play as a dog who can rip out people's throats. That's speciesist. A speciesist. You can't play as a narwhal or a cat.
To be able to play,
Okay.
I don't understand. Yeah,
I want a modder to get a hold of this and change it from ripping out throats to ripping off balls. Just saying.
Okay, I would like that. That would be fun. You're a junior deputy on the police force, though how you wound up in Hope County is a secret. At Far Cry 5's press event in New York, Hay talked reporters through the opening events of the game on condition we wouldn't report it, presumably because Ubisoft wants to save that for an E3 demo or something. Far Cry 4's Hutchinson had whatever.
It's Hutch. It says fucking Hutch. God damn it.
Hutchinson.
When the cat can get it right, you know you're in problems.
Hutchinson had said at E3 2013 that the team on that game was very close to including the option to play as a woman in that game. This sequel finally deserves that option. Delivers. Sorry, God damn it. I'm like doing so bad at reading today.
You are.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Scroll down, Cat.
I'm gonna play as a woman. If we get the game. You spend the game building a resistance to the militia, while Hay didn't explain how the game's recruitment system worked. He did spotlight 3 characters, a preacher, a bartender, and a pilot, and presented them as examples of everyday Americans living under the thumb of the militia, who the player can tap to help fight back. It's unclear if they are simple quest givers or allies who can be summoned to help in a fight. The gameplay reel did show some allied characters helping in the fight, but it doesn't appear to be quite the return of the buddy system in Far Cry 2.
Good, because it was fucking awful. Just saying. I didn't like it. They got in the way most of the time, and then when they did work, it was okay.
Yeah, that's always a problem with any game where the AI is like you have to play as 2 people, and the AI just like it gets in the fucking way. It's like this is making it harder. I remember when Spec Ops came out for the first time. That was like a 2-player co-op one. I seem to recall that was basically when if you were playing one player, the AI would take over the second one. But I don't ever remember having a problem with it. I only ever played the demo. But I thought it was quite interesting. I never bought it at the time, and this has got to be like 15 years ago or something now. So, God knows that's kind of a relic. But they got it right then. That's a long time ago, right? Probably even earlier.
I don't think they give a fuck anymore. To be fair, like I don't think they all go for like the graphics and fidelity and all that shit, and they don't really put effort into like programming AI and shit anymore. Or do you just use like the default AI on the default AI on whatever engine they're using? They don't like go into it and sort of make it to fit the game rather than you know what I mean?
It's good enough.
You know what I'm saying?
It's good enough. Slap it in. Let's go.
Yeah, it's good enough, slap it in. We don't need to edit it to make our game work a bit better, because our game works differently from like the whole normal way AI would work. We don't need to tweak it. We'll just use that AI because it's easier. I think that's what it is.
You can't put AI on a box and sell it, and you can't put AI on an image. It's one of those indistinct things you can only get from a feeling of playing a game, right? You can't see it in a trailer. You can't hear it. You can't see it. You can't smell it, right?
So no one
gets
to
interact with it. So pretty much, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. And like, I mean, like, it's really hard to make. Like, if you're making a game engine, right? This is one of the things, Kat.
This is one of the things, Kat. Right? You like me, right? Big fans of Unreal Tournament, right? Remember, that bot system is still fucking awesome. Still good, right? Still better than a lot of games out there.
But it was tweaked for that purpose, though. That's the thing. If you grab that AI and put it in an open world first-person shooter, it wouldn't work. It would be retarded.
Yeah.
No, well, it would be retarded AI, which is what we're getting. Like, that's what I'm saying. The engine, whatever the engine it is that they're using, say that it's the Unreal Engine, right? The Unreal 4 engine has a default sort of like AI, right? And that works for the majority of first-person shooters. But that's what it's programmed to. It's a program of sort of works with all of them, a master of all trades. But I think
it sounds like basically it's like this.
It can do everything, but it can't do anything good. A jack of all trades and a master of none. That's it.
If you want to do the whole if you want to do the whole phrase, it's jack of all trades, master of none, but better than a master of one. There you go.
Well, no, see, it's not, because if you're making a game...
No, that is the whole phrase.
No. It's saying better than a master of none is basically to say, well, if you're shit at everything, you're not much good, are you?
It says it's like jack of all trades, master of none, but better than a master of one. So you can do a lot of things, although you don't have all those things mastered, but it's better than being only good at one thing.
No, it's
mastering
not.
Just one thing.
No, it's not.
No, actually it is, and that is the whole saying. Yes, it is, and that is the whole thing.
No, it depends. Well, no, it depends how many different things you have to do.
Trade than you are at being a fucking jack of all trades, because a jack of all trades is fucking useless at nearly everyone.
That's not necessarily true.
No,
this is why you buy. This is why.
No, jack of all trades indicates that you've got moderate skill in a whole bunch, not that you're completely useless at all of them.
Yeah, this doesn't say that you're useless.
But I would rather get. And it means
that you know a lot of different. You might have a lot of different knowledge in a bunch of different areas, although you might not have mastered.
Right, but I would rather get a proper mechanic.
Yeah, but the point is, Kat. Right. This is kind of what I'm saying. There's a difference between an adequate and an excellent. An adequate game, as you say, will use sort of default AI.
Right.
An excellent game will have people who spend additional time to put the effort in to really make it work.
To tweak it and work for their game that they're making, yes.
But you can't see that in a YouTube video, so there's not much incentive to do it.
Exactly. They don't give a fuck. This is why I think Blizzard is good, to be fair. Because their AI is not bad, usually. Same with Valve. Valve's AI is quite good.
They do care about this kind of shit. That's why they are considered who they are. Because, well, think about the original Half-Life, right? One of the things that really made that distinct was the AI. Right, exactly.
Amazing.
They spent a lot of effort on it.
There was a story, okay, like, this was fucking amazing. My mate was playing it, right? Half-Life 1, the first one. And there was a point where there's a train station and he was sneaking up behind the military guys and you heard them talking. They were like, aye, that fucking Freeman, man, I'm going to kick his fucking cunt and he's massacred half my buddies. They were talking to each other, right? He's done this and done that, and my mate's sneaking up behind him, and he throws the detonator backpack, right?
Yeah, I know.
along the fucking rails, the train rails, and it's bang, and both of them just blew up into pieces. But it was brilliant because the two of them were just standing there talking about what they were going to do to free them, and my mate was like crouched behind them, and you could hear them talking and shit. That's what made that bit just made the whole game. That shit. And also they used to, like, if you threw a grenade, they would throw it back at you. Like, that was the first time I ever experienced that in a game. Motherfuckers threw the grenade back at you. And they would grenade, and they would all run away. They would fucking throw it back at you. Yeah, that was a masterpiece at the time. Actually, I can't remember a game doing that after that much, unless I'm so used to it.
I can't figure it. Nothing comes to mind. But you see, that's what I'm talking about. Just because that was released in 1998 and time has moved on, it's like saying, all right, well, you know, Jurassic Park was made in 1993 and that still looks good special effects wise today. Why do things look so fucking fake? Well, there's a difference between a hack and a visionary director, right? Yeah. It's not any different just because technology has moved. It's the same with games. Just because technology's moved on with games doesn't mean the people using the technology can use it effectively. You still need to be able to know what the fuck you're doing with it.
I think that's the problem. I think because we've now got these like massive game engines that everyone uses, a lot of the games mostly look the same and act the same, I think. Do you know what I mean?
I can. So, I mean, certainly, it does. I do remember with quite some excitement the sort of earlier days where there seemed to be everybody was coming out with a different engine. It was an interesting pioneering time. Now, the thing about pioneering is pioneering doesn't go on forever, so it's not surprising really that in a more mature world of 3D games, where they've been like first-person shooters and so forth have been the norm for 20 odd years or something. Yeah, right. It's not surprising. It's not surprising it comes in this state. Hopefully, at some point, something will come along and shake it all up again. And
I hope
that's how the cycle is.
I just wish they would put more effort in, like as I say, just tweaking the AI in that engine to fit your game better.
To make another movie analogy, that's like saying Disney needs to make more effort in the Avengers movies because the last one was a bit the same as the first one. It's like, if they're still going to make $1 billion from it, they don't really give a shit.
Well, obviously, but I just hope that someone like Blizzard or Valve come along again and shake shit up again, because they're good at that. They're the ones that will do it. If anyone's going to do it, I'll be them.
I would hope so. If not,
Valve doesn't give a shit anymore.
Well, I mean, when's the last time? If you remember, Valve came from nowhere, right? They were a bunch of talented people.
Oh, I know where Valve came from.
I mean, they didn't literally come from nowhere, but nobody heard of Valve before Half-Life, right? And then suddenly Half-Life catapulted them into. Well, exactly. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't know if there's any equivalents today. Perhaps there are, but basically that just took them. That took these people from basically nobody even knew they existed to, oh right, Half-Life exists as a thing and it's the most awesome thing ever, right? So that's a pretty.
Would be one as well.
Slightly, it depends what you're talking about, because obviously the original Grand Theft Auto, again from '98, that was definitely an awesome game, but most people do not think of the top-down view.
No, it was definitely the third one. Definitely the third one. Definitely.
See, the thing is, I don't remember that as being too much in the maybe it's because at that time I was going to university and things were different at that point. That was around 2001 or so.
It was PlayStation 2 era.
Yeah, possibly. For me, Vice City was the one that seemed to be, as far as that generation.
Well, which again is just like a modification of the GTA 3. It's basically like an add-on pack It's the same engine,
Yes.
it's the same everything, except it was based in the 80s and it was brilliant.
It was.
It was basically Scarface.
Yes.
Which was fucking awesome, because that movie's fucking awesome. But yeah, it had, like, the soundtrack was fucking amazing.
Indeed.
Just everything. Yes, give me more of this, please. Rockstar. Go back to that. Rockstar, do that with the new game.
Well, see, the thing is,
I want to play it again, but with better graphics and stuff.
Last thing I'll say before I let Narwhal continue is just to say, don't give us. I'd never say like we really love that thing. Give us a thing. I would say, always keep surprising us, because like inevitably, you're careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. And if you get the same thing over and over again, you go, well, I liked it the first time, and now I'm bored.
See,
So,
I don't like GTA 4 as much as I liked Vice City. It had better graphics and everything. It got a bit too serious. Far Cry 5 is about right. I liked what they done with that a lot more than GTA 4. Although there's nothing wrong with GTA 4, it just wasn't as comedy. They took a lot of they made it a bit too serious.
It feels. I'll tell you what.
Say serious again?
He said serial. Take him super serial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You are saying serial, not serious.
They made it too serious. Yes.
There we
go. They definitely did. And then Far Cry 5 sort of, yeah, okay, I can deal with that. I like Trevor. Trevor's fucking amazing.
You're talking about GTA 5, not Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 is the article. You're talking about GTA 5, the game, which exists.
That's true.
You're getting yourself confused, man.
I am. Anyway, I'll get back to fucking Far Cry 5 then. Yes,
indeed. Since you can't stop talking about it, you must be a shill.
I am. Got paid loads of money from Ubisoft.
Probably.
Right. So
Okay.
go. So
we're at the
buddy recruitment. Yeah, the buddy recruitment thing will play into a more open-ended approach to action throughout the game. Hey, when you play Far Cry 3 or Far Cry 4 or even Primal, and you go out and see these outposts, and in those outposts, there's an opportunity to attack them from 360 degrees. And the real question we ask is, why can't we do that within the whole game? Why can't we make it that the whole game is about you finding people in the world and being able to attack the world from 360 degrees and then bringing people with you? You can fly planes and get in dogfights. You can also drive according to the game's press release. Iconic American muscle cars and boats. America. Okay.
This sounds quite good. It sounds a bit better than the other, because I know what they mean by that. Because the other games, they had like bases, right, and you had to take over the bases, and in the rest of the sort of open world was sort of just there, and the point was just to take over the base, and so you would plan out how you would attack that base.
It sounds like
and
go and
do it. It sounds like they've made the whole map like that, which sounds good.
It does sound like there's a reason why you get confused between GTA and Far Cry, because they make it's making it sound more and more like GTA.
Yes. No, Far Cry is like a first-person shooter GTA.
No, this one. This one definitely is sounding like it.
Even more. Yeah, this one sounds like they've went more with that. Which is fine. I mean, that sounds for the Far Cry, because Far Cry was getting boring. This sounds like they've changed it up a wee bit. Maybe. Anyway, we've got 2 articles, man.
Is there anything much more of this? Scroll up a bit. Yeah, it looks like we've got a couple of paragraphs.
Playing boats, Ubisoft going
This is too long now. I was into it.
So society, blah blah blah. I'm
Oh,
trying to
hang on,
get.
here we go.
Here we go.
Here's
Here
a
we
spin.
go. Yeah.
All of that stuff was all perfectly reasonable. I'm guessing this is going to be the spin at this point.
Yeah.
All this talk of society a
precipice.
Would he move around? Yeah, he's moving around a lot. Okay. All
Yeah,
this
no,
talk
yeah,
of
just stop
society on
moving,
a
Kat.
precipice may have you thinking about Trump, but they're not saying Trump. Here's Hay when talking about how some of the game's themes manifest in real life. So this is where it gets retarded. Why are we talking
Yeah,
about
this
Trump
is the bit we're
in
looking
this-
for.
Why are we talking about Trump in this game? This is like this old school America back in the past, and you're in like because it looks older. You know, it doesn't look like it's like modern day. Does that make sense? For me, at least.
Yes.
Trump wouldn't be in the game.
No, but this is I think this is the bit I was looking for. I think this is the bit that I mean it's a bit of game. It's a game journalist. Why are you bringing up fucking politics?
Yeah, I don't understand now. I'm confused. I just wanted to. You just want to hear about the game, like we were doing, and then Trump's not in the game. So unless like Trump shows up in the game,
I doubt it.
I began to get the sense that America was ready for a far cry. And in a year and a half, a lot has happened. All I can tell you is that what started out looking good when I get up in the morning and I read the news and I turn on the television, I hear what's happening across the globe and I hear what is happening in America. And, oh my God. And I hear some of the different things that are going on. I absolutely get that feeling. For 25 years, I haven't had that feeling like I did when it was the Soviet versus the U.S. in the Cold War. And all I know is that in the last year and a half, I got that feeling back, like we're riding a wave and something is going to happen. Like there's going to be a calamity and going to be a collapse of what?
Don't.
I feel like me and him are living different lives in America. I don't know what.
Don't know.
I feel like I'm
Don't.
living my normal American life and I'm going to go to work tomorrow. There's no what's going to collapse. I don't understand. I don't like it when people act like just because Trump's president, like freaking everything's gonna, it's gonna start burning. Well, it kind of did, but that wasn't like Trump. That was Antifa. So it's like it's different. It wasn't at all Trump's fault, actually. Anyways, really, they're not saying Trump. I asked. Hay told me the game is set in. Oh, it is set in present day. It didn't give me that feeling. It gave me like it was set like maybe 30 to 50 years ago. You know what I mean? When like cults were like, there was like more cults and stuff because it gave me that like kind of Jonestown. Was it Jonestown?
Yeah, it was. Sort of like, it gave me a gamification of present day. Does that make sense?
It didn't make me think too much present day besides, you know.
Well, I'm talking about like the vehicles and the guns and
besides the vehicles, but the whole feeling, the rest of the feeling didn't feel very present day to me.
Well, no, but that's because like it's a game in present day, so like it's a sort of like a game in present day. So you've got to twist what the present day is, right? You've got to.
Okay, I get that.
Gamify
but, like,
it.
But it just kind of gave me that Jonestown feeling. If that makes sense, if anybody knows. Pretty sure it was Jonestown. Not like
anyway,
it's totally Jonestown.
Do you see what he's just said here? He's actually asked the guy, right, like a fucking retarded journalist faggot, right? He has asked the guy that's developing the game. It's like, why haven't you got Trump? Why haven't you say something about Trump? Like he's actually asked the game developer. Right, so I'm developing the game, right? And this game journalist comes up to me and goes, yeah, I've got a feeling that you're saying something about Trump here. Why is Trump not in the game? And I'm sitting there going like, the fuck did that come from? Like, what are you on about? Even though it's set in the present, what's it got to do with Trump? It's a game, you fucking retard. Like, why are you a games journalist? Would be my question to him. I'd be like, why are you asking that fucking retarded question, you piece of shit? Like, what's wrong with you?
Why are you so dumb?
Exactly. So it's like, really, they're not saying Trump. Of course they're not saying Trump. It's nothing to do with Trump, you fucking idiot. The only reason it's got anything to do with Trump is because it's in your fucking heads. Anyway. I asked Hay, told me this game is set in the present day, but when asked if that meant Trump is president, he said, it's interesting. It would have been super easy for us to reference specific people, but of course it's the real world. But it might have been too easy to have references and jokes about stuff like that. Yeah, because most of the time it doesn't work and it dates your game, and you don't want to do that. You fucking
absolutely. It's like anything else. It's the quickest way to date anything. Is to unless there's a specific reason to do it, and many things like. For example, I'm thinking of like satire comedy programs based on a weekly news, right? So you got things like long running. Have I got news for you? It would make absolutely no sense to try and make that timeless, right? The whole point is it's a weekly panel show. With something like a video game or a movie, though, generally you would be dealing with themes. Yeah. Themes rather than necessarily particular people, unless it's a biopic.
Yeah, you don't want it. You don't want to date it because once you've dated it, it doesn't work anymore.
But this is where,
gone, right?
See, clever artists. I'll say artists are the people who understand that there are particular themes. What are the universal themes? And you see, if you get that right, then it simply
doesn't matter.
It simply doesn't matter. It will still resonate in 100 years' time because people probably won't have changed that much.
Yeah, it's like the human condition, right? It's
exactly. That's why those sort of things always do well, because they speak to something fundamental about our nature.
It's usually the hero story is the famous one.
That's the one. What's his name? Joseph Campbell, is it?
I don't know.
Hero of a Thousand Faces, the one that
I just know that the hero story basically starts out where you've got something happens, it forces a normal person into some type of situation, then that's the start. They discover there's something in them that turns them into a hero. It's a hero's journey, right? And then so in the middle something happens, they get training, they get whatever, and eventually they find out they're really good at whatever it is, and then they go out to fight the evil thing and they triumph over it, right? That's like the hero story. Like, it's everywhere. It's Star Wars does it, Indiana Jones does it, any like hit sort of movie type thing. Comic books fucking do it all the time. Like, the whole thing, every movie that you can think of that's made it big will be that sort of 3-part of the hero's journey, right? All the time. Something happens which leads to the second part of the thing, which leads them to become a hero at the end.
That's right? More of the 3-act structure rather than the hero's journey, but it doesn't matter.
Right, I know, but the hero's journey is sort of the same sort of, like, that's where it comes from. It's like that sort of thing. I can't remember, but yeah, that's basically what it is. And then if you date it, you fucked it, because it won't work anymore.
But the other thing I was going to say is that, not that it doesn't, as I say, some things it's entirely reasonable to talk about something in a particular context. But if you're not trying to put something in a specific scenario, say if you're making a game about World War II and you care about historical accuracy, you better be accurate.
Well, yeah.
If you're making a generic game that's set in World War II and you only care about the themes, then it doesn't matter as much. Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, but that's a war that actually happens. So you can sort of take historical weapons and shit, and then make a story around it.
Or you could go the red alert way and have a whole fucking alternate timeline, for fuck's sake.
Exactly, but yeah, don't date stuff, because if you're an artist and you date stuff, you've basically fucked yourself, unless you're dating it in like a historic type way, because everyone knows that there was no zombies in fucking World War II, right?
Well, no,
But
dating
COD 5 done it.
Dating 7 doesn't mean tying it to a specific period in history. It means making it so facile that it's quick. It only has a very ephemeral sense of relevance.
Yeah,
so,
you're talking about today's politics rather than
universal themes of politics.
Yes.
And if you are talking about politics, you're assuming that everybody understands what you're talking about, which is why if I knew nothing about, like if I was making a film about the miners' strike in the 80s,
holy shit,
and I just assumed everybody watching it grew up in those times and knew everything about the political situation, anybody trying to watch it is not going to know what the fuck is going on, right? Because it's
stopping.
That's why you've got to establish.
Oh yeah. I actually am gonna go make food, so I'll be back.
So anyway, I'm going to stop the YouTube broadcast. I can't be arsed saying what I need to say. Aerithradio.co.uk if you want to know the rest of the shit that happens if you're watching this later, which you probably are because there's no viewers. So yeah, do that. Aerithradio.co.uk.
It promises to upload it on time. Don't you, Kat?
Well, the problem
yes.
is no one told me, so no one listens to it anyway.
Say yes, Kat. Just say yes.
Yes.
There we go. Good, Kat.
If I don't forget.
You get a treat later.
Yay. Dreamies.
Dreamies, yes.